Welcome to this second video on Understanding Brexit, a concise introduction by me, Dr. Tim Oliver, a senior lecturer at Loughborough University's London campus. In this second video, we're going to look at the second chapter in the book, which is a history of UK-EU relations, where the book tries to unpack some of the historical baggage, shall we say, that helped to explain why Brexit happened. The chapter begins, however, not on UK-EU relations, but on the EU itself, and it begins by looking at why the EU itself was founded. I don't think we can understand Brexit unless we understand what the European Union is, why it was founded, and how it's evolved. And that's what the book begins to do. It unpacks the EU's institutions, explains them, looks at the different policy areas, and how the EU has evolved and integrated further. The book then moves on to look at why Britain joined late, and the history of Britain's attempts to join. Britain didn't join European integration when it began in the 1950s. It only joined in the 1970s after two failed membership attempts. And some argue that Britain's late membership was one of the reasons historically why it was never going to feel comfortable within the European Union that had been set up to serve other countries' needs. So it always seemed to arrive late. It arrived at the wrong time after the initial economic boom of the 1960s. It joined in the 1970s when economically things weren't going well. So from some perspectives, Britain didn't get off to a great start in its membership of the European Union. That also helps explain the two things that the book then goes on to look at, which is the two-faced nature of Britain's attitudes towards European integration and the European Union over the years. On the one hand, as the book unpacks, is the idea that Britain has been an awkward partner. Now, for a moment, stop and just appreciate the phrase there, an awkward partner. Britain has not been the awkward partner. Lots of member states have been awkward, but Britain, it can be said, has been more awkward than most, with Brexit taking that to a new level. Britain has demanded opt-outs, it's demanded exclusions, it's vetoed things, it's secured rebates. It's often been a country that's been willing to say no. And to some elsewhere in the European Union and within the United Kingdom, that has signified a certain degree of awkwardness that has held Europe back and put Britain out of a place with the rest of the European Union. At the same time, however, you can look at another side to this, which is that Britain has been a quiet European. When you look at what Britain has done within the European Union, it has quietly contributed towards European integration in a number of areas, such as the single market that Margaret Thatcher was very keen on, or EU enlargement that the British government has been long a key support of, along with NATO enlargement. And when you look at those areas and others, you see that Britain has been quietly constructive player within European integration. And one thing the book then does is look at that awkward partner versus quiet European debate and examine how this has been shaped by domestic politics and politics within the United Kingdom that has often favoured the kind of the awkward partner, the awkwardness narrative rather than the quiet European. British politics has been Eurosceptic for a long time, and that potentially explains why Britain has often appeared to be more of an awkward partner than it might actually have been. That and lots of other issues are explored in Chapter 2, about a history of UK-EU relations and explaining why it was that Britain found itself eventually holding a referendum on whether to remain or leave.